Hello, welcome to Hope for Flint. I'm your host, Kristen Wolosinovich, and I want everyone to play it cool. Play it cool, Zach, because we've got attorney Jessica Hammond in the downtown Hope for Flint Ferris wheel studio. Hello, Jessica Hammond.
Hello.
We're acting cool because you are an attorney. You're kind of a big deal.
Oh, I don't know about that, but I am an attorney.
You are an attorney. What do you specialize in?
I specialize in family law and child welfare law.
I love it. I love that. It can be very complicated, can't it?
It can. It can be complicated. It can be hard. It can be rewarding. All of the above, really.
Yeah, I bet. And your office is?
My office is at 720 Church Street, which is just a couple blocks from where we are now.
Downtown Flint.
That's right.
Downtown Flint, baby.
That's right. Live and work.
How long have you been an attorney?
I passed the bar in 2008, so it's been 11 years now.
Wow. Mm-hmm. And have you always wanted to go into family law? Was that a specialty you focused on, or did it kind of come to you?
A little bit of both. I started with mostly family and criminal law, and just kind of as the time went on, I ended up getting a contract with the county to do child welfare law, which is more family law oriented with a little bit of criminal law mixed in. And so I just kind of transferred my practice to solely family and child welfare just so I can focus on those two areas.
Well, they're two important areas to focus on. And I think Genesee County has been extremely progressive in terms of the judicial system in handling whether it's drug court, family court, girls court, in sort of siphoning these issues and getting to the root cause of what the problem is.
Right. And I represent the juveniles in juvenile drug court.
Oh, wow.
Or, as we call it, adolescent recovery court, but common name is drug court. And then I represent mothers in abuse and neglect cases in Judge Thiele's courtroom.
Wow. So that can be extremely stressful. But like you said, rewarding too, because I think, let me ask this question. It's once you get in, meet them, assess them, get to the root cause, there's a lot involved in the root cause of what's going on.
There is. It's a lot of, I think it doesn't matter who you're dealing with, whether it be parents or children that are in the system in some way.
Yes.
The trauma is always there. There's always trauma. And even when you're dealing with general family law cases, people going through divorce, it's traumatic.
And it's generational.
Yes.
It's cyclical. So it's like learned behavior, generation after generation. Yeah. But is it rewarding for you to be able to get them to where they need to be? That's got to be so fulfilling.
It is. People ask all the time, especially with the child welfare cases, how do you represent parents in child welfare cases, right? Because these parents have been accused of doing
heinous,
neglecting or abusing, and the levels go, from 10 the highest worst things to 1 the lowest, maybe they're homeless, and everything in between. But I often get the question of how can you represent, quote, those people,
right? They have no idea though.
Yeah, and the answer is easily.
I agree.
Yeah, they're so easy to represent because most of them, they just need a little bit of help.
They need help. They need resources.
And like you said, it's generational. So some of the issues that they've been going through their entire life, they haven't had a whole lot of help with. And we're able to come in as the court system and also as just the general child welfare system can come in and help with services and get them on their feet and hopefully eventually get their children back.
That's exactly right, because I think you see in many cases, they will do anything for their babies. Yeah. They are caught up, and sometimes too, like you said, if addiction or substance abuse is involved, then go get them help and healthy so that they can become the foundation to get their kids back.
And because generally kids want to be with their parents.
They do.
Kids don't understand drug addiction very well, and if we can get the parents the help they need to get better and kids can go home, that's the ideal.
That's it. Yeah. You do God's work. I love it.
We try.
Well, and like I had said, though, it can probably be a very stressful job. So you're here today to talk about kind of how you balance, right? How you balance that, because you have to practice self-care yourself. And I know you are a yoga instructor. I love yoga. And you actually teach here in the Ferris wheel. What days do you teach here?
I teach here at the Ferris wheel Tuesday mornings at 7 a.m., which
Hi.
some people have an adverse reaction to, but it's actually the 7 a.m. class is my
probably
favorite
great.
class. It's short. It's only half an hour long. Everyone's out by 7:30. It's kind of a quick wake you up, get going on your day kind of thing.
Get your Buddha on.
Yeah.
Get your namaste.
Exactly. And then you go on about your day and everything just seems to be a little bit happier.
Zen.
Calmer. Yeah. So I have the 7 a.m. Tuesday morning, and then the first Friday of every month is wind down yoga, where you come and do some nice, easy relaxation yoga with a glass of wine.
I think you're speaking my love language.
Yeah.
I think I love you.
Yeah. It's
So
a good class.
wind down yoga, and that's Fridays.
First Friday of every month.
First Friday.
Just
Girl,
once a month.
I'm seeing it 4 times a month. I'm seeing it increasing. You're not going to present that and not make it a mass commodity. But all right. All right, we got it.
For now.
For now.
First Friday of the month
How
at
long-
5:30.
How long have you been teaching yoga?
So I've been involved in the fitness area for longer than I've been a yoga instructor. When I first started about 4 or 5 years ago, I was a PIO instructor, which is...
I love PIO.
Yeah, which is Pilates and yoga, and is so much fun and really difficult, actually.
I know it is.
Right?
It, not to use my really extended vocabulary, but it sucks. You're welcome.
Yeah,
America.
Yeah. I had people who would come to class and I'd have to warn them, like, okay, this is going to be harder than you think it is.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I know those warnings because guess what I am a certified instructor of? Spin class.
Ooh.
And I teach extreme spin.
Really? I want to come to your extreme spin class.
I can't wait for you to come to my extreme spin class.
It sounds really scary.
I love that it's scary.
Yeah.
Something sadistic about it. And it's just drives me. So
get
you
out
get
that
it.
aggression.
You get it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so PIO first. But,
Started as PIO.
But really, like, same with me. It's like we talk about overall, like, mind, body, soul. Okay? So as part of, like, nutrition, they say 80-20. It's what you put in your body. 20% physicality. But it's so important for your mental health to stay active. Especially, I love cardio. People kind of, especially men, Zach, not to point you out because you're the only man in the studio, but they do a lot of weight and HIIT training, high intensity training. Zach's shaking his head. Yes. I'm not a big HIIT girl. I love cardio. I love to sweat. I love to run it out. So that's why sometimes I struggle with yoga, but it's so important.
Yeah.
It's so important. When did you transition to yoga?
It is really important. It's important, especially in my area of work,
I would think.
for stress management. But I transitioned to yoga about 2 years ago. I've been doing yoga my whole life. That's always been something that I've enjoyed through college and everything. And then I got my certification, I believe it was April of 2018. So it's been about a year and a half now that I've actually been certified to teach yoga.
Got it.
And that was, the certification process itself was fun. I did it with one of my best friends who I've known since I was 5 years old.
I love that.
She had just been in a really severe car accident and needed something, for stress management and anxiety management, PTSD. And so we did that certification together, and she now teaches over at Tenacity. Her name's Jennifer Kiesler. Shout out to Jennifer. For Jennifer. She teaches at Tenacity and a couple other places around town too. Yeah. So we did that together, and then after I got the certification, I started teaching. I had a class at Lunch Studio when Lunch Studio was still here. Tracy let me use that space, and then I moved here and have the classes here. And then I also teach a class at the Juvenile Detention Center at GVRC for the girls there.
How amazing is that?
That's fantastic.
We talk all the time about these poor kids and their anxiety levels off the chart. And again, going back to what you said, it's a lot of trauma-based.
Yes.
Even in high-functioning families, it's traumatic. They have access to social media. There's so much going on that you and I never dealt with, that many of us never dealt with. And I don't care who you are, there is some sort of trauma that these kids are facing, whether it's bullying, the whole gamut. And we talk about mindfulness and how to develop coping skills and how to handle adversity, because I'll be honest, these kids struggle with adversity nowadays.
Yes.
And we talk about being mindful, and yoga is so important in the school system as an overall practice and daily practice for everyone, and especially to deal with those girls, what they're dealing with, right?
Right. It really is. It's, you're dealing at the GVRC, these are children. I mean, because we have kids from 11, to 16 mostly. And they've been through traumatic experiences, and because of their trauma that they've had to deal with, they often commit crimes themselves.
That's right.
That's why they're at the GVRC.
Sure.
And the yoga class for them, I mean, you can see the difference between when they walk into class and when they leave class. And as part of the program that we instituted at the GVRC, me and the other instructor, Marcia McGee, who teaches yoga here at the Ferris wheel too, we actually went out to California, to San Francisco, and were trained on trauma-informed yoga.
That's what I was going to ask next. Yeah. Is there a certain way, I'm sure it's not a different yoga style. I'm sure it's still the same, what the process for yoga, but it's in how to teach them or how to present it to them.
Right, and how to teach it, how to present it, how to deal with certain situations if they arise, and to be mindful as a yoga instructor of what's going on in the class, and how to tailor your class to specific situations.
I love that.
And
I love
other little things like children who have been through sexual trauma, some poses might trigger trauma for them, might trigger bad memories. Exactly right. And so you want to kind of stay away or be careful and be mindful of what you're teaching and how you're teaching it.
That's exactly right. Wow. And I would think your line of work probably gives you a leg up in terms of
it does.
What to present to them. And I think too, I just love you.
Oh.
I love what you do, because I can tell when you're getting with these kids and with these families. I mean, oftentimes they don't know their worth. They've never been told their worth. In fact, quite the antithesis. They've probably been degraded their entire lives. And those words have become thoughts, and you know how that manifests into character. And I think once you shift and show them what their power is and provide them that empowerment, it's a game changer. Yeah. And that's all they need. They need, honest to goodness, if this is the last thing I ever say in my life, it takes one person. One person to change your life.
Yeah.
And you probably are that person for a lot of people. I mean, I know you, not to brag or toot your horn, but I can tell you are that person.
I don't know if that is true or not, but I would like to think that, or hope that, I guess, you know, that you're helping somebody, and even if it's in some small way. Sometimes with the girls at the GVRC and having these classes, not only is it's really important to teach them their self-worth, because just as what you were talking about, but also to value other people. That's right. And to value their peers and their family, and to know that they can trust other people, because
they've been so abused.
Yes, the trust patterns with them have been so degraded that, they don't know who to trust and they don't know why, and sometimes they don't even trust their friends.
They've never developed it.
And so that is an important part of it too, that you hope that you can help them, learn how to function in society, because a lot of times if you're not able to step out there and trust yourself and trust other people, it's hard to get by.
And I think too, once you start helping them to develop that self-respect will then transcend in how they treat other people.
Yes.
Because it'll be a direct reflection of how they feel about themselves.
Right.
So it's probably establishing both characteristics into them. And it's not easy. It takes time and practice.
It doesn't. When you go through trauma at a young age, the way your brain develops is different. I mean, there's tons of studies about how that affects brain development in young children who have been through significant trauma, and you have to remap the way that those brain functions work.
That's exactly right.
To get people to not have an instantaneous negative reaction to a situation that probably could use a little bit more thought.
That's exactly right. And what happens is, they go out into society and they do commit these crimes, and then they are put into the system, and then they're put into detention centers, or they're put into jails or prisons. And oftentimes, my goodness, that's where, what happens? Do we just throw everyone into prison or into these institutions? Or do we identify the root cause and start to provide treatment and get them well and whole again?
Right.
That's the key to it.
Right.
That's the key to everything.
Rehabilitation.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you, Jessica Hammond. I feel you. So, okay, so you are just right now, are you teaching anywhere else other than the Ferris wheel?
Just the Ferris wheel and the detention center right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll see you at the Ferris wheel.
Yes.
And I will be at Wind Down Fridays for sure.
The next Wind Down Friday is November 1st.
Okay.
5:30 here at the Ferris wheel. It's on the 6th floor in the yoga studio. It's $15, but you get wine and yoga. So
Oh my God. And
that's a
Jessica,
good deal.
that's a deal. Can I bring Zach?
Yes. It
Forget
is
it. We want to have fun.
all gender, all age.
It's all gender,
very
all
nice
ages. I can bring my kids. My kid needs yoga.
Yeah,
My 18-year-old.
Yes. No wine.
And
for them,
Jesus.
but kids.
No wine, but yoga and Jesus.
Yoga
and
and
Buddha.
Jesus. Yes.
We'll bring them all in.
Yes.
And I know you're a beautiful resource for questions or legal questions or mentoring or, reach out. How can people get a hold of you in your office?
So the best way to get a hold of my office number is 810-234-0818. Email is always a great way to get a hold of me.
Perfect.
Yes. Which is just my name, Jessica Hammond Law.
It's
at Gmail.
Jessica, standard spelling, HAMMON. No D.
No D. LAW at gmail.com.
Easy. Jessica Hammond Law at gmail.com.
And then I have my yoga email too, which is Flint Yoga Jess, JESS.
Oh, I like it.
At Gmail. Or people can just stop in the office. I mean, like I said, I'm at 720 Church Street, which is just a couple blocks from here. It's super close. It's easy to get to. And I have a lovely secretary.
Oh, I love. She's an admin, administrative assistant.
Yes.
That's I think the key term. I'm going to tell you. It's funny. I said secretary today on Facebook to my mom, and I thought, oh my gosh, I don't know if you say secretary or admin. I don't know.
I'm going to have to ask Bianca what she prefers.
Ask her because admin. I
What
think
do you want?
you missed administrative assistant day probably year over year. There is a day.
There is a day, yes.
So you better make sure you get her
we
some
always
flowers
get that.
today in case you forgot it. So attorney Jessica Hammond, yoga guru, advocate for the city, advocate for families, advocate for our babies. Thank you. You are changing the narrative. You are changing the script. You are changing lives. You're making the world a better place. So thank you.
Thank you. So are you.
Aw,
It's good.
thank you. Yeah. You'll be back.
I will.
Yeah, you will.
I will. Yes.
Because you, Jessica Hammond, definitely are hope for Flint.